You shouldn't get it soon. You shouldn't get close.
Yakın almamalısın.
Wouldn't it help? Doesn't it help?
Yardım etmez mi?
We should do real estate at dusk. We have to do real estate at dusk.
Alacakaranlıkta emlakçılık yapmalıyız.
Our grandchildren are anthropologists. Our grandchildren are anthropologists.
Torunlarımız antropolog.
Were we sociologists every day? When you become a sociologist every day,
Her gün sosyolog olduğunuzda,
I will behave. I will behave.
davranacağım.
Your stepdad is a designer. Your stepfather is a participant.
Üvey baban katılımcı.
You dance often. You dance often.
Sık sık dans ediyorsun.
Will they not inform? Can they get news?
Haber gelebilirler mi?
They didn't show up 4 seconds ago. They didn't show up 4 seconds ago.
4 saniye önce ortaya çıkamadılar.
I shouldn't be a policewoman every year. Women shouldn't be a cop every year.
Her yıl kadın polis olmamalıdır.
Should I be cold after 1 second? Should I be cold after 1 second?
1 saniye sonra üşümeli miyim?
My annual spending. My annual spending.
Yıllık harcamam.
I include.
Dahil ediyorum.
Were we repeating it every week? Is it repeated every week?
Her hafta tekrarlanıyor mu?
Was your brother a baker? Is your brother a baker?
Kardeşin fırıncı mı?
It takes 10 years to eat. Year must eat.
Yıl yemek gerekir.
Then at 4 a.m. you will clean up. Then at 4 a.m. you will clean up.
Daha sonra sabah 4'te temizlik yapacaksın.
His brothers were swimmers. Was a swimmer.
Aşınma yüzücüydü.
We shouldn't stay every day. We shouldn't stay every day.
Her gün kalmamalıyız.
Is his half-brother a fielder? Is his half-brother a fielder?
Üvey kardeşi saha görevlisi mi?
Was his half-brother a gymnast? Her half-brother gymnast release?
Üvey kardeşi jimnastikçi yayın.
Is their spouse the second man? Is their spouse the second man?
Eşleri ikinci adam mı?
We're not going to be weather presenters at 2 p.m. You don't make a weather server at 2 a.m. at midnight.
Gece yarısında 2'de hava durumu sunucusu yapmazsınız.
Would he do a bi-weekly athlete? Does an athlete do it every 2 weeks?
2 haftada bir atlet yapar mı?
Will be a pilot every month. Will be his moon pilot.
Onun ay pilotu olacak.
Is his son the sheriff? Is his son the sheriff?
Oğlu şerif mi?
We would care. We do not approach.
Yaklaştırmıyoruz.
He wasn't a speaker back then. He wasn't a speaker back then.
O zamanlar spiker değildi.
Do you forget? Do you forget?
Unutuyor musun?
My father was the weatherman. My father was the weatherman.
Babam hava durumu sunucusuydu.
You may not see. You may not see.
Göremeyebilirsin.
Were their grandchildren interns? Descendants interns?
Torunları stajyerler.
Shouldn't I be a businesswoman soon? Shouldn't I be getting a job soon?
Yakında iş yaptırmamalı mıyım?
You shouldn't enjoy. You shouldn't enjoy.
Zevk almamalısın.
Is his wife a worker? Coworker?
Eş işçi mi?
He should not be a frequent truck driver. He should not be a frequent truck driver.
Sık sık kamyon şoförü olmamalıdır.
My brother was a diver. My brother was a diver.
Erkek kardeşim dalgıçtı.
Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries? Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries?
4 asır sonra cerrah olmalı mıyım?
Can't you press it the night before? Can't you press it the night before?
Bir gece önce bastıramaz mısınız?
I trust one night later. I trust one night later.
Bir akşam sonraya güveniyorum.
He won't find out after 5 days. He won't find out after 5 days.
5 gün sonra öğrenemeyecek.
Does it always have to be a physiologist? Does it always have to be a physiologist?
Hep fizyolog olmak zorunda mı?
A physiologist a century later, right? A physiologist a century later, right?
Bir asır sonra fizyolog değil mi?
Your grandfather is a singer. Your grandfather is a singer.
Senin deden şarkıcı.
Would take note. Would not take.
Değil alacaktı.
Is my grandson a geologist? My grandson?
Torunum mu?
Isn't it fundraising later? Isn't it fundraising later?
Daha sonra bağış toplama değil mi?
Can't they play games every month? Can't they play games every month?
Her ay oyun oynayamazlar mı?
You can race. You can race.
Yarışabilirsin.
Wasn't I a rower 3 days ago? 3 days ago rower not spreading?
3 gün önce kürekçi yayılmıyor mu?
It wasn't a climb. It wasn't a climb.
Tırmanış değildi.
We did not guide at night. We did not guide at night.
Gece vakti kılavuzluk yapmadık.
Shouldn't it turn? Shouldn't it turn?
Dönmesi gerekmez mi?
Do we have to do chemistry at dawn? Do we have to do chemistry at dawn?
Şafakta kimya yapmak zorunda mıyız?
His uncle was an actor. His uncle was an actor.
Amcası oyuncuydu.
You can save soon. You can save soon.
Yakında kaydedebilirsin.
Your grandparents were reporters. Your grandparents were reporters.
Senin dedelerin muhabirdi.
After one day we would not do chemistry. After one day we would not do chemistry.
Bir gün sonra kimya yapmazdık.
We won't touch for 2 weeks. We won't touch for 2 weeks.
2 hafta dokunmayacağız.
Should you be bartending now? Should you be bartending now?
Şimdi barmenlik yapmalısınız.
After that notary 3 weekend. Note after 3 weeks.
3 hafta sonu sonra not edin.
Was he an astronomer 3 centuries ago? 3 centuries ago doing astronomy?
3 asır önce astronomi mi yapıyorsunuz?
I can be a businessman every week. I can be a businessman every week.
Her hafta iş adamı olabilirim.
Can they watch? Can they watch?
İzleyebilirler mi?
Do they mean? Do they mean?
Demek isterler mi?
Wouldn't it connect? Won't it connect?
Bağlanmaz mı?
I could not inform. I could not inform.
Haber veremedim.
Was his father the weatherman? As her father's weatherman?
Babasının hava durumu sunucusu olarak mı?
You must destroy it after 5 nights. Not destroyed after 5 nights.
5 gece sonra yok edilmesin.
Should not be created often. Should not be created often.
Sık sık yaratmamalı.
Was our stepson a pipe player? Is our stepson pipe player general?
Üvey oğlumuz boru döşemeyicisi genel mi?
Can't I usually be a foreman? Can't I be a foreman to use?
Kullanmayı ustabaşı olamaz mıyım?
Does he want it now? Does she want it now?
Şimdi mu istiyor?
There will be no monthly lieutenant. There will be no monthly lieutenant.
Aylık teğmen olmayacak.
Is your half-sister a technician? Is your half-sister a technician?
Üvey kız kardeşin teknisyen mi?
Will you not publish? Will you not be able to publish?
Yayınlanamayacak mısınız?
My stepson was an operator. Was the step operator.
Üvey operatördü.
Should it be weekly? Should it be weekly?
Haftalık mı olmalı?
3 in the afternoon? 3 after birth?
Doğumdan sonra 3 mü?
2 seconds later? Should it be preferred after 2 seconds?
2 saniye sonra mı tercih edilmeli?
We cannot mix. We cannot mix.
Karıştıramayız.
Would be supportive. Should be supportive.
Destek olmalı.
His parents were advertisers. Your parents were advertisers.
Ebeveynlerin reklamcıydı.
Was he the night watchman next year? Next year night watchman Bo?
Seneye gece bekçisi yay.
Isn't she cold? Aren't you cold?
Üşümüyor musun?
Can't they handle? Can't they handle?
Uğraşamazlar mı?
He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. We're not noon filmmakers.
Öğle vakti film yapımcıları değildi.
Shouldn't be dealing with it. Shouldn't be dealing with it.
Onunla ilgilenmemeli.
Wouldn't he offer? Will he not present?
Sunmayacak mı?
Don't we separate? Don't we separate?
Ayırmaz mıyız?
Do you not recommend after 4 months? Do you not recommend after 4 months? Were his relatives scientists? Are his relatives running scientists?
Akrabaları bilim adamı mı yürütüyor?
Is their grandmother a farmer? Is their grandmother a farmer?
Büyükanneleri çiftçi mi?
Our grandmother was a waitress. Our grandmother's waitress.
Anneannemiz garsonu.
It wouldn't come in a week. It wouldn't come in a week.
Bir hafta sonra gelmeyecekti.
Can you be a monk every day? Can you be a monk every day?
Her gün keşiş olabilir mi?
We would say. We would say.
Derdik.
Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years. Shouldn't be gardening for 10 years.
10 yıl bahçıvanlık yapmamalı.
Cannot warn. Cannot warn.
Uyaramaz.
She is a yearly fashion designer. She is an annual fashion participant.
O yıllık moda katılımcısı.
We can't get it after a month. We can't get it after a month.
Bir ay sonra alamıyoruz.
Can't you press it the night before? Can't you press it the night before?
Bir gece önce bastıramaz mısınız?
Travel agency 3 months ago. Travel agency 3 months ago.
3 ay önce seyahat acentesi.
They are the rule. They are the rule.
Onlar kuraldır.
Didn't they lose 2 afternoons? Didn't they lose after 2 births?
2 doğumdan sonra kaybetmediler mi?
Was her stepfather a fashion designer? Carry a stepdad fashion protector?
Üvey babası moda koruyucusu taşımak.
His grandfather is an astronomer. His grandfather is astronomy.
Onun dedesi astronomidir.
Your children are lumberjacks. Your children are lumberjacks.
Çocuklarınız oduncu.
Sometimes not an ecologist? Sometimes not an ecologist?
Bazen ekolojist değil mi?
We don't get caught weekly. We don't get caught weekly.
Haftalık olarak yakalanmıyoruz.
Your mother is a shepherd. Mother shepherd.
Anne çoban.
I haven't been a scavenger for 10 years. I haven't been a scavenger all year.
Yıl boyunca çöpçü olmadım.
Shouldn't we fill it sooner? Shouldn't we fill it sooner?
Daha erken doldurmamız gerekmez mi?
Was not suspicious. It wasn't suspicious.
Şüpheli değildi.
Their neighbors are drummers. Their neighbors are drummers.
Komşuları davulcudur.
Can't they be business women in the night? Can't they expect work at night?
Gece vakti iş beklenemezler mi?
Is that sign? Or sign?
Veya işaret mi?
Is my stepdaughter an apprentice? Step tissue apprentice?
Üvey doku çırak mı?
I may not be a cop in 5 hours. I may not be a cop in 5 hours.
5 saat sonra polis olmayabilirim.
Your relatives are the vice president. Your relatives are the vice president.
Akrabalarınız başkan yardımcısı.
Should he then split the 2 evenings? Should he then split the 2 evenings?
Daha sonra 2 akşamı ayırmalı mı?
They have to negotiate after a century. They have to negotiate after a century.
Bir asır sonra müzakere etmek zorundadırlar.
They cannot tell. They can't tell.
Söyleyemiyorlar.
Is my brother a conductor? Is my brother a conductor?
Abim orkestra şefi mi?
They cannot mark 1 year later. They cannot mark 1 year later.
Bir yıl sonrasını işaretleyemezler.
They should usually work. They should usually work.
Genellikle çalışmalıdırlar.
Were their husbands stylists? Stylist neutering husbands?
Kocaları stilist kısırlaştırma.
We accept immediately. We accept immediately.
Hemen kabul ediyoruz.
Why not monthly? Why not monthly?
Aylık neden olamaz mı?
Your stepfather is an analyst. Your stepfather is an analyst.
Üvey baban analist.
Can we get fit? Can we be eligible?
Uygun olabilir miyiz?
Will they not inform? Can they get news?
Haber gelebilirler mi?
Rarely can it tick? Rarely can it tick?
Nadiren işaretleyebilir mi?
Should not go now. Must go now.
Hemen gitmeli.
Is our grandson a salesman? Is our grandson a salesman?
Torunumuz satıcı mı?
Are his relatives butchers? Are his relatives butchers?
Akrabaları kasap mı?
Were their grandchildren interns? Descendants interns?
Torunları stajyerler.
Can the industrialist be annual? Can the industrialist be annual?
Sanayici yıllık mı olabilir?
Is our niece a secretary? Is our niece a secretary?
Yeğenimiz sekreter mi?
We weren't close for 5 weekends before. It wasn't close to 5 weekends before.
Daha önce 5 hafta sonu yakın değildi.
Can't I finish then? Can't I finish then?
O zaman bitiremez miyim?
Couldn't she be a beautician 4 minutes ago? Couldn't she be a beautician 4 minutes ago?
4 dakika önce güzellik uzmanı olamaz mı?
It can continue. It can continue.
Devam edebilir.
They must be field guards at 4 after midnight. They must be field officers at 4 after midnight.
Gece yarısından sonra 4'te saha görevlileri olmalılar.
Is your neighbor a cameraman? Is your neighbor a cameraman?
Komşunuz kameraman mı?
His half-sister was an electrician. His half-sister was an electrician.
Üvey kız kardeşi elektrikçiydi.
Am I expanding? Am I expanding?
Genişletiyor muyum?
Didn't they lose 2 afternoons? Didn't they lose after 2 births?
2 doğumdan sonra kaybetmediler mi?
Can't you suppress? Can't you suppress?
Bastıramıyor musun?
You shouldn't get it soon. You shouldn't get close.
Yakın almamalısın.
Your cousins were jugglers. Your cousins were jugglers.
Kuzenlerin hokkabazdı.
I was. I was.
Ben vardım.
You weren't bathing at sunset. You weren't bathing at sunset.
Gün batımında yıkanmıyordunuz.
Will be a pilot every month. Will be his moon pilot.
Onun ay pilotu olacak.
Our niece is an artist. Our niece is an artist.
Yeğenimiz sanatçı.
Your nephew is the waiter. Nephew's waiter.
Yeğenin garsonu.
Was his son a glazier? Son go to glazier?
Oğlu camcı gitmek.
Will they be important? Will they be important?
Önemli olacaklar mı?
Didn't it break? Didn't it break?
Kırmadı mı?
He could make daily jewelry. He could make daily jewelry.
Günlük kuyumculuk yapabilirdi.
Was he wearing? Are you getting dressed?
Giyiniyor musunuz?
Can't we prove it at sunrise? Can't we prove it at sunrise?
Güneş doğarken kanıtlayamaz mıyız?
Is it called at 1 a.m.? Was it said at 1 a.m. at midnight?
Gece yarısında birde mi söylendi?
Does not appear. Wash.
Yıkamak.
You must not suffer. Must suffer.
Acı çekmeli.
Is her stepdaughter a potter? Is her stepdaughter a potter?
Üvey kızı çömlekçi mi?
Can't we defend after 3 nights? Can't we defend after 3 nights?
3 akşam sonra savunma yapsak olmaz mı?
His nephew is an auditor. His niece is a protector.
Yeğeni koruyucudur.
Later in the morning they are not inspectors. Later in the morning they are not inspectors.
Daha sonra sabah müfettiş değiller.
Must buy. Must buy.
Satın almak gerekir.
They couldn't help. Those who can't help.
Yardım edemeyenler.
Never an editor? Never an editor?
Asla editör değil mi?
Our aunt was a real estate agent. Our aunt was a real estate agent.
Teyzemiz emlakçıydı.
We must become scientists every year. We must become scientists every year.
Her yıl bilim insanı olmalıyız.
Wasn't he a lumberjack 2 years ago? Lumberjack not common 2 years ago?
2 yıl önce oduncu yaygın değil mi?
Can you like it? Can you like it?
Beğenebilir misin?
Should not travel. Should not travel.
Seyahat etmemelidir.
Are our cousins founders? Are our cousins founders?
Kuzenlerimiz kurucu mu?
Did we say normal? Did we say normal?
Normal mi dedik?
It can wait at noon. It can wait at noon.
Öğlen bekleyebilir.
Are they burned? Are they burned?
Yanmışlar mı?
Were their uncles senators? Were their uncles senators?
Amcaları senatör müydü?
We must sign. Our people.
Bizimkiler.
Couldn't he touch it? Can't touch?
Dokunamaz.
Then I couldn't work. Then I couldn't work.
O zaman çalışamadım.
Weren't you the manager right away? Isn't he the manager right away?
Hemen müdür değil mi?
Will he be hopeful in the afternoon? Will he be hopeful in the afternoon?
Öğleden sonra umutlanacak mı?
You will immediately become the second man. You will immediately become the second man.
Hemen ikinci adam olursun.
Were we sociologists every day? When you become a sociologist every day.
Her gün sosyolog olduğunuzda.
Did it change? Did it change?
Değişti mi?
I would reflect. I'm out.
Çıktım.
It won't fund then 5 a.m. It won't fund then 5 a.m.
Daha sonra sabah 5'i finanse etmeyecek.
May not have rested. May not have rested.
Dinlenmemiş olabilir.
Shouldn't he kill for 15 days? Shouldn't he kill for 15 days?
15 gün öldürmesi gerekmez mi?
Will it attack at night? Will it attack at night?
Gece vakti saldıracak mı?
Is their grandmother the weatherman? Is their grandmother the weatherman?
Büyükanneleri hava durumu sunucusu mu?
Can't I be a referee after 1 day? Can't I be a referee after 1 day?
Bir gün sonra hakem olamaz mıyım?
Songwriter 2 later in the morning? Songwriter 2 later in the morning?
Sabah daha sonra söz yazarı 2.